Welcome to Every Way Woman. Different women, different opinions, great conversation. I'm Jezlan. Welcome, ladies. Let's have an open dialogue. October is also the month of domestic violence awareness. And it's not only affecting men, women, but also drastically our children. Stacey.
Well, being a survivor of a domestic, I was in an abusive relationship, I can tell you that it's not a good thing, particularly for children. And being a survivor of a molestation, the things that we do to children are, you can never, ever, ever imagine. So awareness is key, understanding outlets, making sure that people around them are paying attention. Kids will show you signs, right? You'll just say they're bad.
What are some of the signs? What can we, as adults, look for in these children?
Well, I would say for myself, I can tell you I began to withdraw. I had a very upbeat personality, but I can pinpoint back to my childhood days where there was just something different, right? And so now I'm very cautious, even with my own children. If my daughter comes home and she's sad, I'm like, did somebody touch you? Did somebody hit you? And I mean, you know, it's true. That's how deep this thing is rooted. So it's
right,
and
I think children sometimes can be afraid to speak out. They're afraid. They don't want to be responsible. They don't want to be saying something that will cause disruption in the family.
Exactly.
And I think that's the
But
real
I think
crucial key.
teachers are also taught how to watch for this kind of thing, and I think that, you know, in many schools they're very much on top of it, and they're really aware, and they call authorities when they need to.
Well, do they? Because we have situations with Boy Scouts, we have situations with the church, we have situations with Penn State, and I just wonder, like, how did these things happen and people just look the other way? And you know, when people did these kinds of things, they weren't shunned from the organization. They were just shuffled around, moved somewhere else. I mean, I'm hoping things have changed now, but I don't understand. I thought we loved kids back in the day.
Sometimes I wonder if there's adults who don't want to take on the responsibility, and I wonder if they're making a conscious decision in looking the other way from these children. As sad as that might be, I'm wondering if sometimes that's happening in these cases like Penn State or in the church or things like that.
Well, I think now it's being brought out to the forefront, and the awareness factor is there now. So I think more and more kids are being aware that this is happening, and it is okay to speak out. They're not going to be in trouble or responsible if they speak out and say something.
I think it was much worse 20 or 30 years ago. And
Right.
Certainly,
absolutely.
People weren't talking about it.
Exactly.
They
were going in the right direction.
And wasn't aware.
And I'm really glad that now we are really talking about the sexual abuse, because that's a part of domestic violence. You have the tendency to hear about in the home and the beating part, but also it's commingled, because often those children who are beat, there's some type of a sexual abuse attached to that. And so we deal with the physical, but we don't deal with the sexual piece of it. So I'm glad that awareness is coming full circle.
And it's important to get that out, because they carry that baggage through their lifetime, and you don't want any child to carry that.
And then they become violent, and they become abusive.
That's right.
They learn that violence is a way of handling these situations, and they become abusers themselves or juvenile delinquents a lot of the time.
Right. So it's really important to address
Not
it
all the
early
time.
on. As,
Well,
you know.
but I think it's hard because, you know, a lot of families, you know, it's all about, you know, well, you don't want to air your dirty laundry and that kind of thing.
Right.
And you want to be strong. You know, you don't need to go telling everybody else about your problems. So I think for kids especially, I mean, you know, you don't know if a kid has been abused at home, or unless they have visible, you know, bruises on their face or something like that. But you don't know necessarily when kids are abused. So
because it's psychological. If my husband is beating me, my daughters and my son may not have the tendency to say something because they know there's more recourse from my mother, right? So they feel like if I don't say anything, if I don't do anything, he won't hit her. And that's so much pressure to put on a child.
Yeah, they live in fear. They're really living in fear, and it's a very hard situation for a child to handle.
Coupled with the fact, and you said it, that we teach our children what goes in our home stays in our home. And that's so not the message. Now, they shouldn't be running their mouth about everything. There's certain things that are not secrets, right? There's just certain things that are not secrets.
No, absolutely not. Thanks for sharing, ladies.
I'm just saying.
We'll be right back.
True.
I want to know what the secrets are. I didn't know there were any secrets.
When I do not wash my hair.